Morning to everyone. My name is Dr. Kelvin from University Tunku Abdul Rahman. Along me is Stella Wason, Dr. Lee Bing Jie, and Dr. Lion Long. Today, we will be presenting about Sparsity to the rescue, face recognition that never stores your face. So basically, what we want to show you today is a way to do face recognition without ever storing anyone's face. So technically, understandably, if a password leak, we will change it, right? Now it's annoying, but over in a minute, right? So if our face leak, however, we cannot change it. Yeah, we have the same face for the rest of our life. So then we have to use it and show it to the camera every day. So here's the very awkward part, right? This system are accurate precisely because somebody collect millions of real faces for them to learn from. Now, the thing that makes technology work is exactly the thing that can never be taken back. Yeah. Now, this is not theoretical. Two of the largest face data set in the world, as we know it, have been withdrawn after questions about how the photos were gathered, and new laws in Europe and UK now restrict what may be done to the face data. Yeah, which leaves one question. Yeah, can we keep face recognition working well while storing no real face data at all? So that's the questions that we need to ask ourselves. So let's talk about what people actually try today. Now, there are three common answers today. Each gives something up. The first one is making fake faces, right? So we generate people who do not exist and train our models on those. Sensible, except the face generator itself has to be built with real faces. And generators can memorize the people they were built from. So that's a problem, right? Now, second of all, blur or distort. Yeah. So we can blur or distort the photos so nobody can identify. That works, yeah, in a way, but it is a direct trade-off. The more we scramble, the worse recognition gets. Now, third, yeah, we can encrypt everything and match without decrypting. It's a strong protection, but slow, complicated, and somebody must manage the keys. So today you give up privacy, accuracy, or practicality. Yeah. However, in our case, we want to give up none of them. That brings us to our idea. Yeah. Where we hide in a we hide standing face behind static. Yeah. So let's go through each information. So what we do is we generate a standing face, a computer generated person who does not exist. It is not you, definitely. That's what the system will use to recognize you from now on. Then we take a pattern of static, like the snow on an old television. So the important part here is the static is generated from our faces. Uh, Then we blend both of them together. That is what we store. Because the static is very, very strong. What we store does not look like a face at all. It's just a noise, nothing for anyone to steal. Then we throw the stand-in face away and we throw your face away. Yeah? So how do you ever get anything back out? You know? When you look at the camera again, your face technically will regenerate the very same static. So what we do is we subtract it, the static cancels, and the stand-in face reappears. Then what we do is we match against that. If it is not you, your face makes different static. Yeah? Subtracting the wrong static will leave a mess, and then the poster will get nothing at all. Now, key here, there are four things that is worth for us to remember related to what this buys us, right? The first thing, your real face will never be stored. So it's not encrypted, it's not hidden, it's simply never written down. Number two, the one I would emphasize, nothing has to be trained. This sits on top of a face recognition system that already exists exactly as it is. No retraining needed, no new data set needed, and no weeks of computing time. Number three, we do not pay for it in accuracy. We mostly beat the method that do require all the training. And lastly, even if somebody steals the whole database, there's no trace of the real face in it. So there's no problem at all. Now, let me show you how it actually works. So here we have the whole system, in one picture. Yeah, this whole system is divided into two halves. Before we walk through it, yeah, the diagram here is used uh, to simplify what we want to discuss. Yeah. So we use shorthand letters. The strip along the bottom will tell you what each one means. Yeah. You have your face code, you have stand-in face, and what we actually store. Yeah. So from here on, I will say the words, not the letters. Right. That makes it easier for us to understand. Now on the left is the signing up processes. Yeah. Your face will go through this process. Yeah. Indeed, we build the static, we add it to the stand-in face, and we store the noisy black square. On the right hand side, yeah, it is the logging in process. Yeah, your face will go in again, rebuild the static, we subtract, and the stand-in face comes back out, and the normal comparison is either we accept it or we reject it. Yeah. Now let me take each half in turn. Yeah, the number circles on the next coming two slides will match the number steps beside them. Now step one is signing up. Yeah. Now signing up, we can break it down into four steps, and you can follow the numbers in the pictures, as given on the left hand side. So number one, a camera will read your face and turn it into a list of numbers. I will call that your face code, right? So it is how any face recognition system represents a face internally. Then we move to step two, where we generate one stand-in face. Yeah? So once we generate a stand-in face, we'll go into step number three. So step number three, our face code will build the static pattern. And lastly, on step number four, yeah, this is one equation in this talk, yeah, where we store equal stand-in face plus the static. Yeah. The key decision here is how strong we make the static. Yeah, much stronger than the picture itself. So strong that what is left is not the degraded face. It is not a face at all. Yeah? So point a recognition system at it, and you get nothing. And then we delete your face code, and the original stand-in face neither will exist anywhere anymore. The two green ticks on the pictures that were shown here are the only things we keep. Step two, we'll go into logging it. Yeah. So we have the same four numbers. We'll go through different steps. Yeah, four steps. First one, we look at the camera again, which produces a new face code. Yeah. So now once we have the face code, we go into step two, which will rebuild the static and we subtract it from what we have stored. Yeah. So once we subtract and get from what we stored, we go into step three. If it is really you, the static will cancel exactly. The stand-in face will reappear. So once the stand-in face reappeared, we go to step four where we compare its code against the one that we stored and accept you as you are. Yeah. If it is somebody else, the static will definitely be different. So subtracting it leaves noise and there's nothing to compare against. Yeah. Right. Essentially, your face is the only key that will fit the lock, and we will never have to keep a copy of the key anywhere. Now, the trick. Yeah. Some of you may have already spotted the problem with what I just said. Yeah. Your face never scans exactly the same way twice. Yeah. We have issues such as lighting, angle, expressions, all of this of which will shift. So the face code is slightly different every time. And if the face code is different, the static may be different, and it would never cancel out properly. So how can our idea work? Yeah, that's the heart of this paper. Yeah. And it is divided into three simple steps. Repeated. First one is spread out. So we turn the list of numbers into much longer lists. Yeah. Then we keep only the strongest few. We throw everything else away. Yeah. So that is what we call as a sparsity inside our title. And then we repeat the processes. So what does this do? What does it fix? So two scans of your face will differ slightly, but the strongest few numbers are the same ones in both. So the moment we throw the rest away, a little of that difference disappear. We do it again a little more. After we go through enough rounds of this, two different scans of your face produces exactly the same result. It is not similar, but identical. This is why static cancels perfectly. Somebody else has a different strong number from the very first round, so they may never converge. Now you might ask me, does this actually work? We have data to show. More rounds, less error. So we conducted a control test. We take a face code, we deliberately corrupt it and measure how much error survives each round. Three kinds of corruption, 6 strength. You get the same picture 3 times over. Error falls steady and reaches effectively 0 by round number 7. And by looking at the lines that are coming together, the worst corruption ends up in exactly the same place. The mildest process does not just tolerate noise, it removes the noise completely. Okay. Now, same effect, yeah, we represent it in dots. Here, we have the same thing in a picture that is easier for us to feel as a human. So 5 different people, 5 colors. Each dot, one noisy scan. At the start, they are hopelessly mixed together. You could not possibly tell these people apart. Then watch, by round number 7, each person has collapsed into single tight point, far away from everybody else. Yeah? This is where you can see the effect as dots. Mhm. Now, the real question is, does it protect privacy and does it still recognize people? Yeah? Everything from here uses real photography. Yeah? 6 and 7,000 pairs of standard public benchmark. Mm. First question we want to ask, is there any traces of real face that's actually left? Yeah? So this is a test about privacy. The one I would ask about if I were sitting where you are. Yeah? The worry. Yeah, we saw something derived from your face. Does it still resembles you? So we measured 2 things. Yeah, the one in purple, yeah, the distribution that you see in purple is how much the stored data resembles the real face, which is the leakage where we want at 0. Whereas the green distribution is whether the system still recognizes you, the usefulness in which we want it to be high. Now, as the round increases, watch them move apart. Yeah? Purple slides to 0, no measurable resemblance to the real face, whereas the green distribution climbs towards a perfect match. This is the result we would most like you to take away. Here, privacy as well as accuracy stop fighting each other. More rounds will give you more of both, which is a good thing. Now, seeing it is definitely believing it. And here is the same claim in the form that you can actually look at. The top half is the right person, early rounds, pure noise. This is all an attacker would ever see. Then the face starts to come through, and by round 7, it is fully recovered. The bottom half is an imposter, same system, same setting, same number of rounds. Yeah? Noise at round 1 and still noise at round 13. So that's the differences. You can look at the comparison of this. More rounds only ever help the right person. Yeah? It will never help the imposter at all. So how accurate is this? How accurate is our method? The numbers on 3 standard benchmark. The thing to notice is that it switches on. Below round 7, the system essentially does not work. Look at that last column, under 2%. And then at round 7, it snaps into places. And after that, it just stays flat. Round 12 is no better than round 7. That is a very comfortable practice because there is no delicate settings to get right. Pick any number past 7 and you are just fine. Mm. Now, of course, we also want to compare it with other methods. Yeah? So we have a lot of different methods that has been published over the years from 2021 to 2025. Now, when we look at the second column, every other method here has to be trained. Yeah? Now, key here is our method doesn't require training. So days of computation on large generated data set before you can actually use it all. Now, ours is a no. It still comes out ahead of both of the benchmarks that is listed here. So one thing we need to be straight about for this method is that a few methods score slightly higher than us, but they get there by training directly on real face photography, which is exactly what this talk is trying to avoid. This is not a loss, okay? But it is a trade-off that we choose. Now, can an attacker actually undo it? Yeah? Can somebody actually break this? Yeah, we assume the worst case. The attacker actually steals everything that we store and know exactly how our method works. Every setting, every parameter, nothing is secret. Even with this, they still cannot get back to your face. Remember step 2? In every round, we throw most of the numbers away. To reverse that, the attacker must guess which few we kept and guess right in every round simultaneously. The number of possibility is far larger than the number of atoms in observable universe. So the punchline is a really strange one, right? Throwing information away is normally a weakness in engineering. However, in this case, it is an entire source of action. Now, in summary, to close it up, facial recognition that stores no real face data, only a noisy stand-in. Yeah, this is what our system propose. It works with system that already exists without training required. Yeah, the right person is recognized almost perfectly, and an imposter recovers nothing at all. So it is also ahead of methods that needs a full training pipeline, which is something that we do as a trade-off. Uh, So the surprise is that keeping less is what keeps you safe, and that's all for our presentation for today. Now, this presentation was supported by Utah Research Fund, Utah RF Grant. Thank you very much, and that's all.